Here, out of several forces, so the covalent forces or else covalent bonds are the strongest bond, and next to covalent bonds are ionic bonds. That means ionic bonds are somewhat weaker than covalent bonds. And next to ionic bond is hydrogen bonding, and next to hydrogen bonding is van der Waals forces. That means out of several available types of interactions, so the covalent interactions are the strongest interactions, and the van der Waals interactions are the weakest interactions. Though here the weak, these are the weak forces or else weak interactions, and their bond energies will be less than or equal to nearly 40 to 50 kilojoule per mole. And the van der Waals forces are the weakest forces, and their bond energy is very less, and it will be less than 8 kilojoule per mole. So like this the interactions of different interactive forces can be explained. So these forces are said to be intermolecular forces. These forces are said to be intermolecular forces. Intermolecular forces. And these forces are responsible. These forces are responsible for the they cause molecules to us for the molecules to associate. What is the meaning of associate? To group or else to join. So these forces are responsible for the molecules, okay, to associate into solids or liquids. To associate into solids or liquids. So these forces are responsible. So these weak forces are responsible. So they are present between the molecules present in a solid or else in liquids. Okay. Now we will learn. Already we have learned about covalent bonds, the nature of covalent bonds, and ionic bonds, and even hydrogen bonding also we learned in our chemical bonding. So this is not covered in our previous classes. So now we will learn about van der Waals forces. Van der Waals forces we will learn about. The weakest forces among different types of forces are said to be van der Waals forces. Okay. There are 5 types of van der Waals forces. There are 5 types of van der Waals forces. What are they? Ion dipole interactions. So these are one type of van der Waals forces. Second type of van der Waals forces are dipole interactions. Dipole interactions. Dipole interactions. Okay, they are also called as Keesom forces. They are also called as Keesom forces. Next, third type of interactions are said to be ion induced dipole. Ion induced dipole interactions. Okay. Ion induced dipole interactions. Next, fourth type of interactions dipole, induced dipole, dipole, induced dipole interaction. Next, the fifth type of interactions, or else fifth type of van der Waals forces, they are called as instantaneous dipole, instantaneous dipole, okay, induced dipole, induced dipole interactions, instantaneous dipole and induced dipole interactions. Okay, so the fifth type of interactions, they are also called as London dispersion forces. Okay, dipole induced dipole interactions, they are also called as Debye forces. They are also called as Debye forces. Out of these five types of, actually van der Waals forces are the weakest forces. So van der Waals forces are said to be weakest forces. Out of different types of van der Waals forces, so these forces are somewhat strong forces. So strongest van der Waals forces are ion dipole interactions, and these are said to be the weakest. These are the weakest van der Waals, van der Waals and forces. So here, as we move down, so the strength of the forces will decrease. So that means these are the stronger than these types of forces, and these forces are stronger than these type of forces, and these types of forces are stronger than this type of forces, and this is strong. These type of forces are stronger than this type of force. So that means, so here as we move down, I mean from 1 to 5, so the forces, the order of force of the order of strength of the forces will decrease. So now we learn all these different types of van der Waals forces one by one with some more details. So first we learn the ion dipole interactions, type of van der Waals forces. Okay. So here the forces of attraction or force of repulsion will be between the ion and dipole. Dipole. What is the meaning of dipole? Already we learned about dipole. Dipole means polar molecule. Polar molecules contain what? Polar molecules contain dipole. For example, if you take HCl, so here the bond between hydrogen and chlorine, it is unequal. The electrons, these electrons are distributed unequally between hydrogen and chlorine. As a result of this one, so the chlorine will develop partial negative charge and hydrogen will develop partial positive charge. And even in water, H2O. So this is one example. This is another example. In H2O also. So here oxygen and hydrogen atoms. So what happens? So the oxygen will develop partial negative charge and hydrogen atoms will develop partial positive charge. Suppose this is the molecule, then suppose this is the molecule of water, then one end of the molecule is negative and another end of the molecule is positive in charge. So simply if I draw that water molecule like this, so one end of the molecule it is negative charge and another end of molecule is positive charge. So here HCl also, if I draw HCl molecule, so one end is positive end, another end is negative end. So one end is positive end. So as it is having two opposite ends or as two opposite poles, opposite charges, I mean those two ends or else two poles, they are having opposite charges, hence that molecule is said to be dipolar molecule, or simply we can call it as dipole. Okay, so dipole means, so polar molecules are contain dipoles. So whenever the term dipole comes, so we have to imagine it as a polar molecule. Okay, right. So now here the interactions, in this case the interactions are between ions and polar molecules. Between ion, maybe cation and polar molecule, maybe cation and polar molecule, or maybe anion, or maybe between cation and polar molecule, or maybe between anion and polar molecule. See, mainly these types of interactions, they are used to explain, these interactions are used to explain the solubility of ionic compounds. The solubility of ionic compounds in polar solvents. Example, if you take a sodium chloride, common salt. So when dissolved in water, so when sodium chloride is added to water, what happens? So this sodium chloride will break down into ions, will break down into sodium ion and chloride ions like this in water. And what happens? So here actually Na plus and Cl minus, there is a force of attraction between these opposite charged ions in the salt. So what happens here? The water molecules will surround these ions, maybe cation or anion. So now let us assume this has a water molecule H2O. So and this one end is positive end, and another end is negative end. So just now we have discussed about the polar molecule. What is a polar molecule? So it contains polar covalent bonds and that molecule. So here for example, if I can draw water like this. So here partial positive charge and partial negative charge on it. Okay. So here if I draw like this molecule, so what happens? This end of the molecule is negative and this end of the molecule is positive. So like this. So I will simply show this water molecule like this. Okay. So whenever sodium chloride is dissolved in water, it is kept in water, what happens? So this water molecule, so this is a positive ion. So positive ion is surrounded by, it is surrounded by water molecules like this. So the negative end of the water molecule, it will come closer to the positive ion. So like this, negative end, positive end, negative end, positive end, negative end, and positive end. So like this, the water molecules they will surround the positive ion, and these water molecules will start attracting this sodium or cation. Okay, now these water molecules, so these are actually all interactions are said to be generally they are said to be electrostatic interactions. Okay, electrostatic interactions. Electrostatic means if the force of attraction is there between positive and negative charges, then such type of interactions are said to be electrostatic interactions. Here, the negative end of the water molecule and the cation, negative end of the water molecule and cation, negative end of the water molecule and cation. So between these two, there are some force of interactions or else force of attractions. So therefore, what happens? All the water molecules will try to pull this sodium away from the chlorine. So it will drag sodium away from the chlorine. And even this chloride ion, it is also surrounded by the water molecules. So like this. So as it is negative charged ion, so it is surrounded by water molecules in this fashion. That means the positive end of the water molecule will be surrounded by the chloride ions, and negative end of the water molecules will be away from the chloride ions, like this. So again here these two, I mean positive end of the water molecule and chloride ion, so will attract. Okay, electrostatic force of attractions will be developing. Okay, now what happens? These water molecules, they will pull this chloride ion away. So these water molecules, these water molecules will pull this sodium ion in this direction, and chloride ion is pulled by these water molecules in the opposite direction. Therefore, what happens? The force of attraction between these two between opposite charged ions will decrease, and gradually it will be broken, and finally sodium ion, it is surrounded completely by water molecules, and here chloride ion also will be surrounded completely by water molecules. Thereby these two ions, they get separated, and now they are said to be in dissolved form, solvated form. So that in this way the process of the solubility, the process. So when free ions are formed, then that substance is said to be dissolved. Otherwise, that substance is said to be not dissolved. So how these free ions are formed? These free ions are formed when the water molecules pull these ions. That means some force of attraction is developed between the dipole and positive ion. Here also force of attraction is developed between dipole and negative ion. So that means such type of forces are said to be ion-dipole interactions. That means between cation and polar molecule, or between anion and polar molecule, such type of forces are developed. So such forces are said to be ion-dipole interactions, and these are the strongest van der Waals forces. So like this. Next type of interactions we will discuss now. What are the next type of interactions? Second type of interactions, they are said to be dipole-dipole interactions. Second type of interactions are dipole-dipole interactions. Dipole-dipole interactions. They are also called as Keystone forces. So again, dipole. That means the force of attraction between two polar molecules. So here the interactions are between, when the interactions are between two polar molecules, simply between polar molecules, polar molecule and polar molecule. So whenever the word dipole comes, we have to imagine that it is a polar molecule, and even it is also polar molecule. That means between two polar molecules, if the interaction is there, such type of interactions are said to be dipole-dipole interactions. Okay. Here Here, these two interactions may be of tail type of interactions. For example, plus minus. So this is the, suppose if it is head, then it will be tail. So this is one molecule. So tail and head. So now tail and head. So the tail of one, the head of one molecule will be attracted by the tail of another molecule. So what happens? So they develop some force of attraction between these two molecules. So this is one polar molecule, this is another polar molecule. So as a result of this one, all the polar molecules will come closer and closer. Okay, they will associate, they will join, or they will form a group by strong forces. I mean by these forces, by such type of forces are said to be dipole interactions. Okay, I mean here head to tail interaction, head to tail interactions. These interactions may be of this type also, maybe like this also. Here it is said to be anti-parallel interactions. Anti-parallel. Suppose if these two are like this, plus minus, then they are said to be parallel. So due to parallel interactions, so here repulsion takes place between these molecules. But this type of arrangement is said to be anti-parallel arrangement. Here head to tail arrangement. Head to tail arrangement. Here what type of arrangement it is said to be? Anti-parallel arrangement. Due to anti-parallel arrangement also, these molecules, they are attracted, dipole molecules, they are attracted each other, they will attract each other, and the force of attraction between such a dipole molecules is said to be dipole interactions. Examples, if you take methyl chloride. Methyl chloride is a dipolar molecule. So carbon, it contains 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 chlorine atom. So here between carbon and chlorine, so chlorine is more electronegative than carbon. So here the electronegativity difference between carbon and chlorine is larger. As a result of this, chlorine will develop partial negative charge and this portion will develop partial positive charge. Okay, so if I draw this molecule like this, so one end will be negative end and another end will be positive end. So negative end and positive end. Negative end and positive end. So like this. So that means as a result of this one, so all this methyl chloride molecule, they join together to form a liquid like material, liquid like substance. Okay, so here, so this is an example for between methyl chloride molecules you will find dipole interactions. And one more example, HCl. If you take HCl, one HCl molecule will attract another HCl molecule. Okay, like this. What happens? So HCl will exist in the form of liquid whenever due to the force of attraction between the molecules. So actually H plus HCl means one is positive end and another one is negative end. Here also positive end and negative end, and here also positive end and negative end. So there will be force of attraction. So this is dipole. So between dipoles the force of attractions are developed. Okay, between the dipole molecule the force of attraction are developed. Such force of attractions are said to be dipole interactions. Here also like this, one methyl chloride and another methyl chloride molecule. So like this, and another methyl chloride molecules. So all these methyl chloride molecules, they are attracted, one molecule attract the other molecules like this. So they form a head and tail arrangement like this, or else they may form this anti-parallel arrangement also, so that all the molecules they will come closer, and they it occurs in the in liquid form. So like this we can discuss such a type of the second type of forces. These forces are somewhat weaker than the first type of forces. That means they are somewhat less stronger. They are somewhat less stronger than ion dipole interactions. So first type of interactions are said to be ion dipole interactions. Okay. So like this we can discuss about the second type of interactions. Now third type of interactions we will discuss. Third type of interactions. What are the third type of interactions? Third type of interactions are called as ion induced dipole interactions. Ion induced dipole interactions. So these interactions are also very important interactions. So what happens here? The interactions are between ion and induced dipole. What is the meaning of induced dipole? Dipole means only dipole. If you take, it is dipole is related to polar molecule. Dipole is related to polar molecule, whereas induced dipole. What is the meaning of induced dipole? That means polarity. That means polarity is introduced. Polarity is introduced in the molecule. In the molecule due to some other molecules. That means actually these molecules are said to be non-polar molecules. They are non-polar molecules. They do not have any polarity in them actually. By nature they do not have any polarity. But some polarity is introduced in the molecule due to some other molecules. Such type of dipoles are said to be induced dipoles. So induced dipole, it is related to actually non-polar molecules. For example, ion and induced dipole. For example, take I minus ion, iodide ion, induced dipole. So generally this type of interactions are found in polyhalide molecules, polyhalide ion. You will find such type of interactions. You will find generally in polyhalide ion. For example, I3 minus ion. How I3 minus ion is formed? I minus ion when reacted with I2, it forms I3 minus. How these are represented? So we will learn the way of representation of such a type of forces. So this is ion. Okay. It is ion. So it is charged, negative charged ion. So here is iodine molecule. I2 molecule. So what happens? So actually it is non-polar. But what happens? So due to the presence of negative charge here, so it will attract, it will induce, or else it will impart some partial positive charge towards this end of the molecule. Okay, actually how it happens? This is negative charge, and the electrons present in this molecule, they are pushed away because of repulsion. They are pushed away. So that what happens? So they will come towards this end. All the electrons they will come towards this end. What happens? As a result of this one, the nucleus is pushed to this side. the nucleus is pushed to this side. So these electrons will attract this nucleus. These electrons of this ion will attract the nucleus of this molecule. So what happens? All the electrons are moved away. So therefore, what is happening? This end becomes a negative end, and this end becomes a positive end. That means polarity is induced into the non-polar molecule. So actually, induced non-polar molecule. Induced non-polar molecule. See, in non-polar molecule there won't be any charges. Actually, charge separation is not present. But here some polarity is induced non-polar molecule. So hence it becomes what? Induced dipole. Hence it becomes induced dipole. That means dipole. That means charge separation is induced by this ion. Okay, now what happens? The force of attraction, the force of interaction between such type of ion and induced dipole. The force of attraction between such a type of ions is said to be ion induced dipole interaction. So this ion actually it is inducing some charge separation, or else before that, if this ion is not in approach to this one, so this molecule, actually I2 molecule will be like this only. See, here it is molecular orbital diagram, because I2 is a molecule, not an atom. So if it is an atom, we will draw like this, only one nucleus and surrounded, it is surrounded by electrons. But here it is a molecule, I2 is a molecule, so polycentric. So the molecules are polycentric, that means they contain more than one nucleus. How many atoms are there? Those many nucleus will be present in this molecule, and those nuclei, they are surrounded by electrons. So like this. Okay. So this is here the electrons are present in the centers, and positive charges are present in the center. They are surrounded by the nucleus, and the distribution of electrons is symmetrical. As electrons are distributed symmetrically, there won't be any charge separation. But when an ion approaches such molecule, when a negative ion, for example, when a negative ion approaches such molecule, what happens? So here, this negative ion, so the electrons present in the negative ion, they repel these electrons and make these electrons to move away. These electrons, they are repelled, and they will occupy towards this end, and they push the nuclei towards this end. So as a result of what is happening, so dipole is introduced in this molecule. Now it is said to be induced dipole. It is said to be induced dipole, and the force of attraction, the force of interaction between the ion and induced dipole is said to be this one, ion induced dipole interactions. Okay, so like this we can discuss. Non-polar molecules means all, for example, hydrogen molecule, oxygen, nitrogen, all these are covalent molecules. All pure covalent molecules are non-polar molecules. Okay. Nitrogen, okay, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon tetrachloride, CCl4, okay, BF3, etc. So what are all these are? All these are what? They are non-polar in nature. They are non-polar in nature. So between non-polar, so here what happens? I will write the force of interaction between ion and the force of interaction, or the force of interaction, or is interactive forces. The interactive forces are between ions and non-polar molecules. Between the ions and non-polar molecules, the interactive forces will be, okay, such a type of interactions are said to be ion-induced dipole interactions. Now we will learn about the third type of fourth type of interactions. Fourth type of interactions are said to be dipole-induced dipole. Dipole-induced dipole. Before that, ion-induced dipole. Now, dipole-induced dipole. Dipole-induced dipole. For example, dipole means it is related to polar molecule. Induced dipole, it is related to what? Non-polar molecule. But that non-polar molecule, so it will become polar molecule due to this one. So in the previous case, due to ion, non-polar molecule is becoming polar molecule. So here in this case, due to dipole, the non-polar molecule is becoming polar molecule. So how it happens? Let us see. In this case, what happens? Dipolar molecule. That means dipolar molecule. For example, take so I will show you diagrammatically. So this is dipolar molecule and this is non-polar molecule. Dipolar molecule, non-polar molecule. So what happens? So here in non-polar molecules, so the electrons are symmetrically distributed. Molecule, as it is molecule, so we will take polycentric. Okay, so electrons are distributed symmetrically. But so this is what? This is non-polar molecule. When dipolar, that means when a polar molecule approaches, when polar molecule comes towards this one, what happens? So this is positive end. So it will attract all the electrons. This positive end will attract all the electrons. So as a result of this one, what happens? All the electrons will come towards this side. By pushing the nucleus away. Very few electrons will remain there. So most of the electrons will come towards this end. Okay. So as a result of this one, what happens? So here this surface develops negative charge and this surface develops a positive charge. Okay, opposite surface. So here what is happening? So charge separation is developed because of this molecule. So in this molecule charge separation is developed. That means polarity or else dipole is induced. In this molecule dipole is induced and this molecule will become like this, and now this molecule will attract this molecule, and the force of attraction between such molecules are said to be dipole induced dipole interaction. They are also called as Debye forces. Okay. Example, take HCl. So HCl, so it is a polar molecule, chlorine molecule. Between HCl and chlorine molecule, if there are any force of attractions, then that force of attraction is said to be dipole induced dipole force of attraction. Actually, suppose this is HCl, negative and positive end, and this is chlorine. So here there is no charge separation. Actually, so in the absence of this one, chlorine will be neutral. So there won't be any charge separation. But when this one is introduced to, when this one come towards this non-polar molecule, what happens? So these two, one of the chlorine will develop positive charge and another chlorine will develop negative charge. So when this molecule approach towards the chlorine side, suppose if this molecule approach towards this side, so then what happens? So this chlorine gets negative charge and this chlorine gets positive charge, and force of attraction between the dipolar molecule or else dipole and induced dipole is said to be dipole induced dipole interaction. Okay, here also this interaction is said to be dipole induced dipole interaction. Okay, such interactions are the fourth type of interactions. Okay. Now we will learn about the fifth type of interaction, the weakest van der Waals forces. Okay, the fifth type of interactions, the weakest one. So here one thing we forget. So third type of interactions. What are the third type of interaction? Ion induced dipole. Third type of ion induced dipole. Induced dipole interaction. See, these interactions are used. They are used, or else they are useful to explain the solubility of ionic compounds in non-polar solvents. The first type of interactions, they are used to explain the solubility of ionic compounds in polar solvents, whereas the third type of interactions are used to explain the solubility of ionic compounds in non-polar solvents. So the first type of interactions, they will explain the solubility of ionic compounds in polar solvents, but here the third type of interactions, they explain about the solubility of ionic compounds in non-polar solvents. So this is the important thing. Next we will learn about the fifth type of interaction. Already we learnt about fourth type of interaction. Now the fifth type of interactions known as dipole induced dipole interactions. Fifth type of interactions are instantaneous dipole, induced dipole, instantaneous dipole and induced dipole interaction. What is instantaneous dipole? Instantaneous, that means at certain instant, at certain point of time. Okay, at particular instant. So what happened? A dipole is formed. For example, here this type of interaction will be between two non-polar molecules, between a non-polar and another non-polar molecule. So between two non-polar molecules, such type of interactions are present. The interaction between two non-polar molecules are said to be instantaneous dipole, induced dipole interactions. They are also called as London dispersion forces. London dispersion forces and such type of forces are the weakest forces in the nature. So actually van der Waals forces are the weakest forces. Out of 5 van der Waals forces, the 5th van der Waals force is instantaneous dipole, induced dipole interaction, or else London dispersion forces. So these are the weakest available forces in the nature. Okay, the weakest van der Waals forces are also these only. Okay, right. Now we will discuss about with an example. So take hydrogen. So actually in hydrogen molecule, so one hydrogen molecule, between hydrogen molecule there are some forces of attraction. Between two non-polar molecules also there will be some force of attraction. Such force of attractions are developed in this fashion. So now let us see. See, already we have seen that interactions are electrostatic in nature. Electrostatic in nature. All interactions are electrostatic interactions, we say. So actually, so it is a polar molecule. It is a non-polar molecule. When there is a non-polar molecule, there won't be any charge separation. So let us consider hydrogen molecule. So this is the nucleus. This is the molecular orbital, and electrons are distributed in this molecule. So all the electrons they keep on moving. Generally only 2 electrons are present in hydrogen molecule. So those 2 electrons will take several places. They keep on moving. Okay, at particular instant or else at any certain point of time, what happens? All the electrons, for example, I will draw this diagram simply. So this is the positive portion, and 2 electrons are present in H2 molecule. So what happens? So these electrons will keep on moving, but at certain time what happens? So these 2 electrons will come towards only one side. So at that time what happens? So here this portion will become negative end, and this portion will become positive end instantaneously. That means at a particular time or else at a particular instant. So the non-polar molecule will become polar molecule, because electrons will keep on moving. When the electrons keep on moving, what happens? They develop, they may come, all the electrons may come one side at certain point of time. Okay, as a result of this one. So normally the electrons are distributed symmetrically. Equally towards all the directions. So such a distribution is said to be symmetrical distribution. Symmetrically distributed. Normally in non-polar molecules electrons are symmetrically distributed, but sometimes what happens? The electrons will come, because as they keep on moving, so the electrons will come towards one end. So like this, and as a result of this one, so a polarity is developed in the non-polar molecule. So no one is introducing this one. No one is introducing polarity in this molecule. So they themselves, those molecules, they themselves will convert into polar molecules at a certain point of time. And momentarily it happens. That means only for a very short interval, this molecule will behave like a polar molecule, though it is a non-polar molecule. But at some times, what happens? Instantaneously, some polarity is developed in the molecule. When polarity is developed in this molecule, immediately what happens? So it's a neighboring molecule. So in the neighboring molecules, so this molecule will induce polarity in this molecule. As a result of this one, what happens? So even this molecule also will develop polarity. Okay, even this molecule also even this molecule also will develop a polarity. So actually these two are non-polar molecules, but some molecules, any molecule may turn into dipole instantaneously. Why it turns into dipole? Because as electrons keep on moving, sometimes all the electron may move towards one end, sometimes. So if all the electron move towards one end, then what happens? That molecule will become a polar molecule at that particular instant of time. So immediately what happens? So this immediately this molecule will induce polarity in its neighboring molecule. Even the neighboring molecule also will develop polarity. Okay, and even its surrounding molecule also, again it will develop polarity. So like this. So in this way what happens? This molecule will attract these molecules, and this molecule will attract this molecule, and so on. All the molecules, they develop polarity and they start attracting each other. So such a type of interaction developed between the non-polar molecules is said to be instantaneous dipole. That means this is instantaneous dipole and this is induced dipole. Instantaneous dipole and induced dipole. Actually, even this is also non-polar and this is also non-polar only. But what happens at a particular instance? One molecule will turn into polar molecule, and immediately it will induce the dipole nature into its neighboring molecule. Hence, the force of attraction will develop between the instantaneous dipole and induced dipole. So, such a force of attraction is said to be instantaneous dipole, induced dipole interactions, and they are also called as London dispersion forces. Example, in carbon tetrachloride. Actually, carbon tetrachloride is a non-polar molecule. It's a non-polar molecule. But what happens? This carbon tetrachloride molecule, at a particular moment or instantaneously, it will become a polar molecule, and it will induce polarity in another carbon tetrachloride molecule. So like this. So may all the carbon tetrachloride molecules, they are induced. Okay, by by other molecules like this. So as a result, all the carbon tetrachloride molecules will be attracted. They will associate. That means they will come closer and they convert into liquid form. So like this. Why carbon tetrachloride? It will be in liquid state. So what is the reason for this? Is we can explain. With the help of instantaneous dipole and induced dipole interactions. Okay. Right. We will learn. See, actually, due to interactions, these interactions will these interactions are responsible for the physical properties of the molecules. We will learn about the physical properties which are explained due to the interactions. The physical properties some physical properties can be explained due to intermolecular forces. Physical properties explained due to intermolecular forces. So generally, what physical properties can be explained? Physical properties like a state. State means the liquid state or solid state, like this. Okay, boiling point or melting point, solubility, etc. such physical properties can be explained uh, uh, by intermolecular forces. For example, take any group. For example, take 7th A group elements. 7th A group element. What are 7th A group elements? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. See, remember that whenever molecular weight increases, then van der Waals force of attraction also increases. When molecular weight of the molecule is more, then the van der Waals forces also will be more. So out of all these, in which case the molecular weight is more? So fluorine, it is its atomic mass is 19 only. Chlorine's atomic mass is 35.5. Its atomic mass is 80 and its atomic mass is 127. So as there are two atoms, so altogether it will be 254. It will be 360. It will be 160. It will be 71 and it will be 38. So its molecular mass is 38 and its molecular mass is 254. So the molecular mass of which one is more? Molecular mass of iodine is more. So as we move down the group, what happens? Molecular weight increases. When molecular weight increases, the force of attraction between the fluorine molecules. So this is fluorine molecule, this is another fluorine molecule. So now chlorine molecules, this is chlorine molecule and another chlorine molecule. Bromine molecule, this is bromine molecule and this is another bromine molecule. Iodine molecule, this is iodine molecule, this is another iodine molecule. So between the molecules, so you will find van der Waals forces. So here I want you to know the force of attraction between fluorine molecules or iodine molecules. So in which case the force of attraction is more. That means the van der Waals forces are stronger van der Waals forces. So here the iodine, as its molecular weight is higher, it's the van der Waals force between the iodine molecules is stronger. It will be very much. Okay, the van der Waals force between iodine molecules is very much. Hence all the iodine molecules will come closer and closer when compared to fluorine. That is why iodine, it exists in solid state. Bromine exists in liquid state, because here the van der Waals forces between the molecules is greater than the forces between fluorine and chlorine molecules. So as a result of this one, so what happens? Bromine, it is liquid, whereas fluorine and chlorine, they are gases in nature. Why fluorine and chlorine are gases, whereas bromine is liquid and iodine is solid? Because between bromine molecules, the van der Waals forces are much higher than between the fluorine molecules and between the chlorine molecules. Okay, whereas in iodine, it is still higher. The force of attraction between the iodine molecules is very, very high. Okay, the van der Waals forces between iodine molecules is very high. Hence, all the iodine molecules, they come very, they are very, arranged very closely, so that iodine it appears. It exists in the solid form. So like this, the state of the substances can be, state of the molecules can be explained. Or else the state of the iodine is solid, whereas the state of fluorine is gas, just because of the intermolecular forces, particularly van der Waals forces between the molecules. So remember that whenever the molecular weight is more, the van der Waals forces will be more. Okay, in this way, the physical properties can be explained by the van der Waals forces. Okay, and even one more thing, one more question. So take inert gases. Inert gases. So what are the inert gases? Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. So between which molecules? Between which molecules the force of attraction is stronger? Between helium molecules, or between radon molecules? So between which molecules the force of attraction is stronger? Again the same reason. The force of attraction between radon molecules is stronger than the force of attraction between the helium molecule. What is the reason? Because radon, its atomic mass is very much greater than the helium. So when molecular weights or else atomic weights, so here inert gases atoms are treated as molecules also. They are said to be monoatomic molecules, hence their masses are said to be molecular weights, molecular masses or else molecular weight. So when molecular weight increases, van der Waals forces of attraction also increases. So that means here between the radon molecules the force of attraction is very stronger than the helium molecule. So like this we can explain the physical properties like this. So out of which one, helium or radon, which one possesses highest boiling point? So we out of these two, which one possesses highest boiling point? Helium possesses least boiling point and radon possesses highest boiling point. What is the reason? See, simply remember that when van der Waals force of attraction increases, boiling points also increases. So here van der Waals forces are more stronger. Van der Waals forces between the radon molecules when compared to helium molecules. Hence, to boil radon, it requires more energy, more heat energy. That means boiling point of radon is more. So here the force of attractions are stronger. So in order to break all the force of attractions between the radon molecules and convert this radon into in liquid form into free radon molecules, it requires more energy, hence the boiling point will be more. Or simply we can remember like this: when van der Waals force of attraction is more, the boiling points will be more. So the boiling point of radon is more than the boiling point of helium. So like this. Suppose if the molecules, different molecules having same molecular weight. Example, take isomers of pentane. If you take isomers of pentane, what is the molecular formula of pentane? C5H12. Pentane, its molecular formula is C5H12. So this pentane, with this molecular formula, 3 different types of molecules are existing. What are they? This is called as normal pentane, or else simply N-pentane. Okay, so it is having large surface area. So another structure with the same molecular formula, isopentane. Isopentane means, see here in isopentane, this one of the terminal carbon will form a branch with the other carbons like this. So like this. So that means here branching is there. So here there is no branching, straight chain, but here, so to this straight chain one branch is there. When carbon is attached to another carbon, so like this a branch is formed. That means if a particular carbon is having 3 carbon attached to it, 3 carbons attached to it, then here that carbon is said to be having branch. So here branching is there. Whenever branching is introduced, what happens? The surface area decreases. Okay, so that means when branching will make a branching will introduce some will introduce the spherical nature. More branching, more the spherical of the molecule. So here, that means here branching is developed. So the difference between this molecule and this molecule is this. In this molecule you will find branching, and there is another molecule known as neopentane. So even neopentane is represented like this. So you will find more branching here, more branching. So with increase in branching, what happens? The surface area decreases, because whenever branching is more, it is increasing, the molecule will acquire spherical shape. So when compared to this one, this is somewhat more spherical. When compared to this one, this is somewhat more spherical. The spherical nature increases with increase in branching. When branching increases, what happens? Spherical nature increases. When spherical nature increases, what happens? Surface area decreases. So when compared to this one will possess surface area, less surface area. When compared to this one, the surface area of this one will be still less. So that means without branching, the surface area will be more. When branching increases, spherical nature increases, therefore surface area decreases. When surface area decreases, remember that surface area is directly proportional to van der Waals force of attraction. When surface area is more, van der Waals force of attraction between the molecules will be more. When surface area is less, van der Waals force of attraction between the molecules is less. Suppose n-pentyl molecule. So here this is one n-pentyl molecule, another n-pentyl molecule, another n-pentyl molecule. Isopentane. So this is one isopentyl molecule, another isopentyl molecule, another isopentyl molecule. Neopentane. This is one neopentyl molecule, another neopentyl molecule, another neopentyl molecule. So in which case the force of attraction between the molecules is stronger. Here the force of attraction, van der Waals force of attraction between the neopentane, the van der Waals force of attraction between the neopentane molecule, it is stronger than in case of isopentane, and here in neopentane the van der Waals forces are very weak. Okay, hence what happens? So here the forces are very strong, somewhat less, somewhat still less. So here, what is this one? This is neopentane. What is this one? Sorry, this is normal pentane. This is isopentane, and this one is neopentane. So in which case the van der Waals forces are stronger. So the van der Waals forces are stronger in case of normal pentane. Okay, when van der Waals forces are stronger, then with increase in van der Waals forces, what happens? Boiling point also will increase. So boiling point increases. When van der Waals forces increases, the boiling point increases. Hence, the boiling point of which substance is more? The boiling point of N-pentane. The boiling point of N-pentane is more than the boiling point of isopentane, and the boiling point of isopentane is more than the boiling point of neopentane. Neopentane. See, remember that all these molecules will have same molecular formula. When they possess same molecular formula, they should possess same molecular weight. The molecular weight of neopentane is same as the molecular weight of isopentane, and it is also same as the molecular weight of neopentane. Sorry, normal pentane. The molecular weight of normal pentane is equal to the molecular weight of isopentane, and it is also equal to the molecular weight of neopentane. Their molecular weights are equal, but because of their surface area, difference in their surface area, what happens? Their force of attraction, van der Waals force of attraction between the molecules will be more. So generally, already we learned this also. When molecular weight increases, van der Waals force of attraction between the molecules also increases. But in this case, all these different types of compounds will have same molecular weights. Okay, the compounds having same molecular formula but different structures. These molecules are said to be having same molecular formula, but they possess different structures. Such molecules which are having same molecular formula but different structures are said to be isomers. Already we have discussed about isomers in our beginning classes. So whenever isomers are of a molecule are present, of a molecular formula are present, all the isomers, they do not have same boiling point. They do not have same van der Waals forces, because different isomers will have different branching. When the branching is differing, what happens? When branches increases, the spherical nature increases, therefore the surface area decreases. When surface area increases, or else when surface area decreases, the van der Waals force of attraction decreases. When van der Waals force of attraction increases, boiling point increases. So here in this case, van der Waals force of attraction is more, because it is not branched. There is no branching. Here slight branching is there. Here more branching is there. As more branching is there, it will be more spherical in nature, hence it possesses less surface area. Hence the van der Waals forces between one neopentane molecule and another neopentane molecule. So between the one neopentane molecule and another neopentane molecule, the force of attraction will be very less because of less surface area between the surface area of contact between these molecules. So what happens? Lesser van der Waals forces, hence they can be broken easily. As the van der Waals forces are weak, they can be broken easily, and they can be boiled easily. That means the boiling point of this one is very less when compared to the boiling point of this one. So in this way, we can explain about the boiling points. Okay. Right.